So there is a word that I want to share with you guys. It's one word that has blessed me so much the past few days, and it's a word that Jesus would have said many, many times to his disciples when he was teaching and preaching. When he spoke his native language in Aramaic, he said the Lord's Prayer countless times. And we know it as Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, and it goes on. And so even those first few words, Our Father, the way that we translate it in English, it's so different in Aramaic. There's a lot more nuance. It gives it a whole new meaning. So I at least want to share those first few words, or even just the first word, which is Abwoon. And you could spell it in English Abwoon, something like that. And we can kind of break it down too. It's a very breathy, vibrating word. And you can almost call it like the Lord's Prayer is like a body prayer, because there's just a lot of breath and vibration. And just the language of Aramaic in general, this prayer, the Lord's Prayer, Jesus would have taught not just for the Jews, but also the Greek and the Gentiles of his day. Anyone could have prayed this prayer and been blessed by it, because it is such a grounding prayer. And so this first word, Abwoon, so you break it down, that that breath sound represents the absolute being and the oneness and unity of God. Okay, so it's a very masculine letter in that word. And then you have the bwa, which is BW, represents a birthing, the creation, the creativity, the flow and blessing of God. So right at the start of the word, you have the and the bwa, which is masculine and a very feminine coupling of letters. Right away, you have what should be translated in English as Our Father Birther, or even Our Father Mother of the Cosmos. So it completely changes the tone and just the dynamic of the first word, how Jesus addressed God. And then the double O, the oo sound, represents the breath or the spirit, the wind of God, the electricity, the energy of God. And then you have at the very end is the n, which is kind of where that vibration comes in. So altogether is Abwoon, and that n represents the vibration, the interaction of his energy, of his wind, interpenetrating and interacting with his creation. So all together, it's just beautiful. The first few words sounds like Abwoon Dibashmaya, and I'm still learning. It's definitely nowhere near perfect, but take the time to learn the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. I think it will really bless you. All right, y'all. Bye.